afternoons or evenings. Okay, so just a couple of things. Let's just talk about the door. So if I'm doing door knocking, so Belladonna, we're going to start door knocking on Wednesday mornings at 8:45 a.m. We're not going to do it this morning, but we're starting next week as a group. So love to have you there and pass the word around. In fact, hopefully everyone will pass the word around.
I have some door hangers that I've got.
Great.
Coming back from the printers.
Perfect. Okay. So a couple of quick things. So my whether it be a door hanger or a flyer, I typically just put my card on every single door if they don't answer. And what I typically will say on the back of it, and so I would encourage you to have a handful of cards, maybe 15 or 20 or 25 cards every time you go out. And on the back of it, what I've handwritten is I say, I may have a buyer. Call me. I may have a buyer for your home. And sometimes I get into this debate with people. Well, do you? I'm like, well, I haven't seen the inside of the home. I mean, obviously, I'm trying to stir them from the idea of giving me a call. And the key for me, with at least my personal integrity, is I say may have. And so my encouragement for you would be something like that. And frankly, in today's market, with the average sales or average days on market being 27, it's probably not a very, even if you personally didn't have it, it wouldn't take you very long in today's market to get that sold. So so on every card, so if I'm handing it to them, I give that to them. And if I knock on the door, I put it in their door. And over the years, many times I've had calls back. I mean, many times. It's not an anomaly to get a call back. There's people, like 97% of people in Utah right now can sell their home. So this is the best time I've ever seen in probably 20 years of being able to go out and door knock and see some extraordinarily good things happening. So Rick, were you raising?
Yeah, I was just going to say, and I didn't quite hear you, but wouldn't it be better to say we may have a buyer?
Sure, that's fine. Yeah. Especially if it's two of you knocking.
Yeah.
So,
well, because
yeah, I like that. Yeah, we may. I think that's great. I think that's great. Yeah, we may have a buyer for your home. Call me. We may have a buyer for your home. Yeah, you bet. I think that's great. Okay, so I have my cards, and then just so if I'm out and about knocking on the doors, sometimes I'm with two people. If I'm with two people, I'm flip-flopping back and forth. One person takes it, the next person takes it. I mean, as I've door knocked with a few of you, and I don't think I've ever door knocked with only you, Cheryl. But my typical thing is we just flip-flop back and forth every other door, or every other door home, I should say. So, and I think Cheryl can acknowledge I'm pretty low key on this. I mean, as tense as you think I am, I'm pretty low key when I'm door knocking. Yeah. Right. So you've been on listing appointments with me, and I remember we got done. She's like, "What was that? Was that you?" Yeah. I know. That's true. But I've been on other appointments with agents. I remember I came out of an.
He had a serial killer room.
Yeah, he did have a serial killer room out there in Magna.
You remember that?
I remember out there in Magna. Yeah. But I remember I remember also being in an appointment. I walked out, and when we were said and done, I'd given the lady a hug, and she was recently widowed, and I was with another agent, and they walked out, and I still remember walking down the street, and the very first thing they said to me, like, "Okay, Grandpa Morris."
Yeah.
And look, I want people to feel loved and appreciated. So you'll if you get a chance, if we have a chance to door knock together. But it's not magical that you're going to get from me. It's also, let's make sure we're clear, a couple things. It's a numbers game. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a numbers game. I mean, I at some level, I've gotten a little lucky with some of the things that we've done and what we've gone out and done, but at the same time, it's still a numbers game because I've gone out even after that a few more times, and well, we went out, we didn't have anything happen, right? But it's still a numbers game. But if you did that same thing, every day, I have an agent right now where we've made a commitment where they're going to knock on 50 doors a day. 1,000 contacts in 2 weeks. And I said, you'll change your life forever if you'll just go out and do it. Right? So 1,000 contacts in 14 days is the objective, and 500 doors, not the actual people answering, but just knocking the door. And the thing is we're talking about prospecting 3-4 hours, maybe 5 hours a day, doing it for 2 straight weeks and changing the whole entire momentum of their life financially. So I think Kevin today said something pretty interesting. He said we either flee, we either fight, or we paralyze. And what I see agents do a lot right now is that when they're scared or nervous, they are either paralyzed, or they fight, or they flee. And almost none of those are very productive. Paralyzing isn't really usually productive as a general statement. Fighting isn't usually a general statement, and fleeing isn't a general statement. Is not a good thing to do. None of them are good. So we have to be very aware of what is our emotional state. Just be engaged. Stay the course. Be who you need to be. So, all right. So I'm there. I have my cards. I typically don't look much different than I'm today. Well, wearing a suit. That's kind of my deal. I don't know if it's absolutely necessary, but I'm a big believer of wearing your name tag. I'm a big believer of when you're on the door that everything you can do to reduce any risk that they may feel, especially in today's world with all the stupid things that people are doing out in the world, right? So I'm going to try to do everything I can to reduce risk. So, a name tag, my card, immediately I give to them. For me, because I'm kind of a tall, big guy, I actually usually, if there's a step down, I will usually stand a little sideways, just so that I don't appear as big. And then number two is I usually have one foot down on the other step so that I'm not towering over them. So for me, it's, again, my most important thing I'm doing when I'm doing door knocking is my first thing I'm doing is making sure they do not feel at risk or unsafe. Maybe a better word is they don't feel unsafe. That's my number one objective when I meet them, is that they don't feel unsafe. Okay? So a couple things. So when they answer, I will take a step back up, and I usually will lean in, and I don't get right into their space, but I actually do what I also used to joke with my teenage kids is, like I say, give them a hug. They come and give me a hug, and they do this hug where they don't want to fully engage in the hug with their whole body, so they stick their butt way out. So kind of same thing, or when you see those people who are uncomfortable, they'll shake a hand, but they'll shake like this, and they get way back away from you. Same principle. In that scenario, again, I'm trying to help them feel safe. So for me, I'm going to usually lean forward and go, here's my card, and give them back that space again so they know that they're safe. Right? So I've got my name badge on. I usually have my little Century 21 lapel on, little lapel pin on. I've handed them my card, and then again, I'm going to pay real close attention. Interestingly enough, this is up here. I pay real close attention to my tone, my body language, and then the words that I'm going to say. And one of the things with the tone, I would say another thing that I might put in tone is the volume of my voice. So I'm going to pay real close attention to their speed of their voice, to the tone of their voice, and to the volume within their voice. Now sometimes that's like, well, wait, I'm supposed to also remember what to say? Yeah, you got to do it all. Eventually, you have to do it all. So remember, every one out of every 4 people will be probably like you. The other 3 will not. Meaning the personality styles, right? Driver, analytical, amiable, expressive. So remember that everyone isn't like you. And so your ability to be versatile and to adapt to that personality right then and there on the spot is very, very important. So not to overwhelm you, because you're going to make, here's the thing, your expectations should be, you're going to do your best, and you're okay with whatever the outcome. I have talked about it.
And you make mistakes and you talk too fast.
I just stop worrying about the outcome. The moment I get so in oh my gosh, this has got to be the outcome, I get all weird. And I might start talking fast, or I say dumb things, or I'm not fully engaged in helping them and really helping them with what they need. And when I get so committed to whatever the outcome has to be, it's the reason why years ago I came up with, what are the outcomes, right? They can sell it, they can rent it, they can foreclose on it, they can short sell it, they can rent it, they could bring money to closing, or they could just sell it. But I have to be okay with whatever the outcomes. Whenever I'm knocking doors, I'm like, just here to help. So my attitude, now I'm walking around the neighborhood, my attitude is, I'm just here to help. And as long as I can help, I'm serving my purpose. And I'm okay with whatever the outcome is, as long as I've helped them. And as long as I kind of keep that energy, that spirit, that mindset, it seems to play well in regards to my conversations. Again, completely unattached to the outcome. And my only reason for being here is to help them. And if I can help them and it helps me, great. If not, as long as I've helped them, I'm good. But my belief and my observation is that if my energy and my soul or my mindset, whatever, my emotion is built around the idea that I'm here to help, it's usually a very good, it's almost always a very pleasant experience. Always.
Me and Charlotte were knocking, and this lady was getting out of her car. She had 2 babies in her arms. She said, "What what do you need? What can I do for you? And I said exactly that. I'm just here to help. And she said, well then.
Right.
And there's 3 bags of groceries sitting there. I said, all right. Take them up. If you have that, they can feel it. And
Yeah.
it's a very, very nice pumpkin.
Love it. That's awesome. It's great.
You know what's fascinating? Just as even you're talking about it, seeing how your entire body changes, just the entire communication of "I'm just here to help." It was fascinating to watch just you change right there.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I always say this: if I really truly have to be okay with if they, and here's the thing: I have to be okay if they don't want my help.
Yeah.
Right. If they don't want my help, that's okay. Right. I have to legitimately acknowledge that within myself that it's okay.
I have accountability. I just looked at the time and was like, I'm not paying $50.
Ah, gotcha. I got
And
you.
I got you in the
Okay.
shop.
Yes.
so they know how
Perfect.
much-
All right. So okay. So all right. So let's go back. I'm walking through the neighborhood. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I'm all I want to do is help people. I'm walking up to the door. It's okay, whatever the outcome is. This is the things I'm saying to myself over and over again. Especially if I've trained my mind now. I mean, my goodness, for me to get out and walk outside and to be outside of any office, I am it's euphoric for me. I mean, I'm just I feel like I've just been freed. So for me, I'm just loving the whole experience, no matter what the outcome is. Because the moment I get so tied in, I must, I have to, and this, it's like the guy in the free throws, right? They're shooting the free throws, and when they get that mindset of I have to, I must make this, what do they start doing? They start tightening up, start short arming it, chicken arming the shot, right? And they don't fully follow through. No, they do like this. You watch Karl Malone's free throws, by the way, when he missed them.
Yeah.
Just for the record. I'm serious. He short armed it, right? He didn't fully extend. So, Evan?
The people that get into accidents is the people that tends to get hurt the most.
Right, isn't it? And it's so sad. The guy who's like the alcoholic who
The
gets
truck driver, just relax.
right,
Whatever.
Right.
Based on that, we should.
right. Yeah, let's not go out intoxicated. That's really what I'm saying.
Well, it was like,
All right.
8:30.
Just 2 or 3 more minutes. So I said the role play. Tomorrow we'll start role playing some more on this, where we'll do more role plays of the actual event of door knocking. We'll even try to do most of all tomorrow doing that. But so I'm at the stairs. I'm usually a little sideways. I'm even thinking what I usually do. I usually actually turn this way, just because then I'm able to reach forward and then give them again more space. That's just me, right? And then when they answer, my answer is I lean forward. I give them my card and I say, "Hi, my name's George Morris with Century 21. I'm a local real estate agent in the area, and we were just walking through. It depends on if it is a beautiful neighborhood. I usually will say it. Shenandoah is a pretty beautiful neighborhood. Walking through your beautiful neighborhood, just seeing if we might be able to be of any service to you regarding real estate, any real estate needs." And I often will say, I don't usually walk up and say, "Hey, we just listed a home for sale over on Primrose Lane, right, or on Shenandoah Lane." I can, but remember, we're just knocking doors, and next Wednesday when we go do it, you may not have that listing right there. But so what I often will say is, "Hey, we work with a lot of buyers and sellers in the area, and boy, the market is white hot." In fact, that's why I remember the lady who we listed the home on Shenandoah. She said, I remember her first things that I got from the stairs because her daughter answered. She said, "White hot?" I said, "Because it's
Yeah.
white hot, right?" So I might have a stat or two, like 27 days on the market, right? Just a little over 2,000 homes on the market. I might just say something like that. So again, "Hey, my name's George." Here's my card. "Hey, my name's George Morris with Century 21. I'm a local real estate agent in the area. I work with tons of buyers and sellers in the area, and I was just wondering how we could help you with your real estate needs." Now, when I say, "Oh, we're great. So how long have you lived this address? If you were to move, where would you go next? Have you ever considered?" I mean, I'm just so, it's so,
Laid back.
yeah, I mean, you've gone with me. I mean, I'm not,
You make it sound really easy.
because I just want, if I can help them, great, and if not, that's okay, and whatever the outcome is. So,
And they respond to you.
yeah, well, because, how well do you respond? How well do you respond when I force you to do something, right? Just think about that. It doesn't go real well, right? So just, you gotta get in that mindset of can't force anybody. So again, that would be basically it. And then if they say, "Well, no," and Well, great. How long have you lived in stress? Wow, I don't know if you know, the average sales price right now is a little over $105 a square foot across the whole valley. But of course, you live in such a nice neighborhood. It's actually, it's going all the way up to almost $200 a square foot. So some exciting things are happening in the market. So share with me, have you considered investing in real estate? What would that look like to you? And if I have a really great relationship with them, I still think I was with Joanna Williams door knocking that day, and actually I'm still thinking right now, I wonder if she's followed up with that guy, because it was this year this guy said he was going to sell, right, over on Shenandoah. So my point is that that would have been someone who I would add into my sphere. So my question is, if I met you, Belladonna, I'd say, hey, Belladonna, you've been so wonderful to speak or visit with. Would you mind if I touch bases with you periodically and updated you on market conditions and see if you knew of anybody who's thinking of buying or selling real estate?
That'd be just fine.
Great. Hey, let me just I'm saying, I presume this is your home, right? Get your address, get your full name, and would you mind if I got your phone number? And I've given you mine, and we occasionally send out a little campaign, updates people on the market conditions. Would you mind if I got your email? You're only going to do that with the people who you're connected with. If you're not connected with, don't worry about it. If you think that they're a jerk, they probably think you are, right? So just if you don't like them, they probably don't like you. So don't try to get all that information from those people. Get it from the people like, oh, I feel a pretty good connection with this person. And that's the person that you want to get their information. Add them to your sphere. Okay?
I was listening to a seminar, webinar for a guy that does some door knocking, and he said that the best way for him to get people to get their phone and email is, once he's done everything that you said and he's got connections, he just says, oh great, I'm gonna send you my newsletter. That's awesome. So George, what's the best number for you?
Perfect.
What's the best email?
Love it.
And at that point, he breaks contact and he won't look at it. He's just gonna look straight down and write.
I like that. That's
And
great. Never heard
It
that.
makes it so it's not weird and it triggers something in them that like, they just commit.
Right. So I like that. So hey, you know what I want to do is I want to send you my newsletter. Hey, you know what? Let me get your name and address. What's your phone number? Or right?
Right, and
Or what's
it's
your
like
full
what we do normally, I guess, but we get a little abnormal in these situations.
Right.
When we're uncomfortable, I feel like when I'm uncomfortable asking for the information, then they say
Oh, yeah.
no. But
Yeah.
if I go, just give me your thing, then I feel casual about it, then they give it to
Absolutely.
me. So I'm like, why am I
Because
so
it's-
worried about
Because
it?
it's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal.
Right.
Because if we were friends, I'd say, so what's your number? What's the best email for you? I'm not gonna be like, what's your email?
Yeah. Well, I'm not even. Well, here's the thing: is I'm not even thinking. I'd be like, "Hey, give me your email." I wouldn't even. I would never. I would never, in my mind, think that you weren't going to give it to me. So
Yeah.
you're assuming that no matter what, they're going to give it to you. So
Yeah.
good. So,
Another, like, so when I go out and I down off, another way I would actually do is that I say, so, when I ask them the number, I say, so 801, and then they automatically say to
I like
me.
that too.
And
Yeah.
then I actually call them. I put in my cell phone and I call them, I say, so
Well,
this is my
he-
number. So they actually
You did
have,
one.
so they actually have a
Perfect.
recording of it. Yeah, so,
I love it.
yeah, and
That's
and
good.
so I put in, like,
Save my number in your phone.
yeah, so I did it right away, like at the door. I said, okay, it's 01712, and then I call them, and then I say the address, their name, and I said, I'll call you at ABC time, so.
Nice.
That's
good.
Yeah, so they know, so
Okay.
I know that they giving me the correct number, and then
Okay.
they.
So tomorrow we'll work on the actual role plays. We've kind of got some of the basic stuff, right? And we didn't talk about investments, but I always ask them, what are you doing to build your financial future? Do you have investment properties now? Great. Have you considered selling them with the market as good as it is? Have you considered increasing your portfolio? Just, we'll practice some more of that, but tomorrow we'll just do role plays. I mean, and then you guys can keep, fill the rest of the group in, but we'll just keep doing it. Okay, guys?
Good.
And gals?
I
Let's give those back to you.
Do you want to keep one?
I have one online.
Oh, okay.
So my daughter works for a company that.
Oh, sure.